Agricultural land continues to face threats of development. That's according to recent data, highlighting 11 million acres of farmland being lost or compromised between 2001 and 2016, with the Midwest being among the most threatened. American Farmland Trust Midwest Director Kris Reynolds joins us now with the latest. Thanks for joining us, Kris. What is your response to farms under threat right now?
Thanks, Christina. And so in response to these findings, American Farmland Trust is taking some decisive action to help slow the loss of farmland to development and also to permanently protect this vulnerable land with ag conservation easements. So we've announced some bold new goals here in the coming years, one of which is to double the amount of permanently protected farmland by the year 2040. And the second is to drastically reduce the rate that farmland is being converted to other uses. Hopefully 50% by the year 2030 and 75% by 2040. But of course, to do all this, we'll need to create a priority focus on our best agricultural land, most of which we have here in the Midwest, the most productive, versatile, and resilient land. And we need to have more coordination between state and local government, and that'll be key to addressing these goals.
Absolutely. And just getting that message out there as well, that not all the land across this country is created equal when it comes to growing different crops. And so I think the consumer acknowledgement of that is an important process as well in this. Let's talk about the Midwest as a whole. Which states in particular do concern you the most in regard to agricultural land being developed or compromised?
Well, I think all of the Midwest states should be of concern. There's definitely a lot of similarities between these states, a lot of farmland. Much of the land in the Midwest is also considered nationally significant land. And most of the leading industries in those Midwestern states is agriculture. And we saw that from 2001 to 2016, each state on average lost between 100 and 400,000 acres of ag land that was either developed or compromised. And for example, during that same time period, over 300,000 acres of ag land in Ohio was developed or compromised. And if we, kind of put this in an economic perspective, all that land loss was enough to generate about $191 million in annual revenue to that state.
Wow. How hard is it to look at new developments going in on this prime ag land? And what can individual states in the Midwest do in response?
So I think the results of these reports show that, every state has taken some steps in order to try to retain land for agriculture. But we also recognize that they all could do more, and specifically in the Midwest, where we have a lot of cropland, we don't always recognize that this land is being lost at the rate that it currently is, and we see competition for land can drive up land values and prices, makes it a lot harder for beginning farmers to enter the field of agriculture, especially in the Midwest. Many of our states are within the top 10 of most expensive land to rent on a per acre basis. And in the Midwest, on average, there's also about 3 to 4 times as many producers that are over the age of 65 as what are under the age of 35. And so when we look at farm consolidation or whether they're going out of business, it becomes hard for the remaining operations to thrive. And all of our states really need to develop, more policies to help support ag viability and to facilitate the transfer of that land to a new, more diverse generation of farmers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to point out that it's hard for young people, if this land is going up, to get loans to be able to qualify for that kind of value is going to be much harder for them. We appreciate what you're doing. If you want more information, farmland.org/farmsunderthreat. That's the website to visit. American Farmland Trust Midwest Director Kris Reynolds, thank you for bringing us some clarification. We really appreciate you. Stay tuned. We're going to review some federal policy recommendations responding to ag land conversion in our next half hour as well.